Hello, everyone, and welcome to this episode of The Friday Charge, brought to you by Geek Studios. As always, we are your hosts, Sebastian, who am I, and Joel, who is he. And today, May 29th, 2026, we actually don't have a lot to talk about. This was slow news week, but we've got a couple stories here that will hopefully keep you entertained. We're going to be talking about this new electric Ferrari, because there's a lot of opinions about it on the internet. We're going to talk about R2 for a little bit, and we're going to talk about a trailer that I think is really cool. So, without further ado, let's plug in and get started. All right, our first topic of the day, which is not the titular topic, surprise, R2 is around the corner. Rivian has announced that deliveries of the hotly anticipated R2 are closer than you think. How close exactly? June 9th is the date that Rivian says they are planning to open order invites, begin customer deliveries, and start demo drives. Rivian is currently expecting that for those that receive an order invite on June 9th, will be able to take delivery of their vehicle in 2 to 6 weeks. Rivian is sending invites based on how early you placed a reservation for R2, how close you live to a current Rivian service or delivery center. Rivian is also allowing current R1 owners to expedite their delivery process, and they are even taking into account lease ends to make sure R2 delivery can line up with that. They also will take into account like lease ends if you're not currently leasing a Rivian. You just have to go into your account and tell them when your lease will end so that they can try to make sure you're not carless, which I thought was cool. That said, not all R1 owners are being given first priority. The R1 owners are going to receive invites mixed in with non-owners as well. As previously discussed, the first model available will be the Performance Launch Edition, with the premium trim coming later in 2026 and the standard coming sometime next year. Rivian is also planning for demo drives of the R2 to start on June 9th for those who have a Rivian location near them. Rivian will not begin scheduling these drives until June 9th, though, so there's no sense in bugging your local Rivian dealer service center thing now.
Space.
Thank you. I forgot the term they used. Anyway, not a whole lot else to talk about on this, but if you are an early reservation holder, then get excited. You might be getting your chance here soon.
So yeah, you did a great job of summing up my entire audio podcast episode for Thursday in about 3 minutes. Good job. You took a 12-minute episode and made it into 3 minutes, so I guess you don't need me anymore. So yeah, I have nothing to add to this. You basically said everything that I said yesterday. But
Joel,
yeah, this is pretty cool. Yep.
How early was your R2 reservation?
I would say that same day around 3 or 4, because Colin did his around 2 and I did mine around 4.
So are you buying one?
Not this trim. I don't want this model, but I will be buy that. I want the next year model because I'm poor. So yeah.
See, I just don't have a reservation because I didn't have at the time money to spend on it, and at this point, it's like, there's no sense in putting a reservation in now. I feel like
I don't know if they charge you for the reservation or it's just $100 hold. They may charge you. I don't remember. It's been a while.
It was a hold, but nonetheless, it was an amount of money I wasn't inclined to spend on a vehicle that wasn't going to show up for a while.
Or if it was going to show up at that time, we didn't know. But yeah,
right.
I have not received anything. I did go in and no, actually, I think there was a way for me to go in, and I could be wrong. Rivian people out there say if I'm wrong. I think there was a time to go in a couple weeks ago, or a couple months ago, and select if I wanted this model or not. And I could have selected no.
That sounds familiar.
Yes, I could have selected no, and then I'll probably won't get an invite. So yeah. So
okay.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, are you excited about this one, Sebastian? I mean, how do you think this is going to do, honestly?
If they can get production right, I don't imagine how this wouldn't be a great success for the company. They've just got to get production volumes nailed and everything else to keep them flowing off the line.
Yeah, I think they said in the article in my little episode, and you may have mentioned this too, but while I was switching through pictures, 2 to 6 weeks after you get your order placed. So yeah, I mean that's Tesla time, So I like it. I mean, it's cool. I mean, I love these pictures that we have on the screen here. I mean, I think the slate gray is the free color. So that color you see there is, I don't think it's called slate gray. I forget what it's called, some weird name. That's the standard color. If you want to upgrade to the other colors, they are an additional cost. So, yep. That's all.
Speaking of things that are an additional cost, Ferrari goes electric. So Ferrari this week made waves with the announcement of their first EV, the Luce, or as I have read it in my head this entire time, the Lucy.
I knew you were going to say that.
Anyway, sorry. Featuring distinctive styling, this new EV from the Prancing Horse was designed in partnership with Love From, which is the design firm headed by former Apple designer Johnny Ive. I promise we're going to talk more about the design later because that's obviously the most controversial part of this vehicle, but let's just talk about what's under it first. The Luce features a 122 kilowatt-hour battery pack built entirely by Ferrari and designed in partnership with SK On. This battery is paired with 4 motors that deliver a combined 1,110 horsepower, capable of sending the car from 0 to 100 km per hour or 0 to 62 miles per hour in 2.5 seconds, 0 to 200 kmh or 124 miles per hour in 6.8 seconds with a top speed of just under 200 miles per hour. This car has 329 miles of range. Of course, this is the Euro cycle. EPA cycle will be different. And features DC charging speeds of up to 350 kilowatts. Ferrari is debuting a new vehicle control unit as well for this model, which allows the car to control each of the 4 motors independently. Each wheel gets its own torque vectoring. It has 4-corner active suspension control, meaning it can change the suspension per wheel. Cool. And it has independent steering on the rear axle. So we've heard of cars having rear axle steering, but this is each rear wheel can actually turn at a different angle independently for like things where you need to get weird control in a corner or things like that. Ferrari has also found a way to pipe fake, quote unquote, sounds into the cabin to keep the emotional component there. Although it's important to note that I kind of just put the word fake in air quotes there, and it's a pretty good reason for that. Ferrari is actually capturing the vibration from the rear axle, filtering that sound out, and then pumping an amplified version of it through the interior speakers. So while, yes, the sound is technically fake, it's also very much real because it's based on what's actually happening with the car. So, we've seen a lot of cars where they'll like pipe in a fake V8 noise or a V12 noise, or like the Ioniq 5N that makes spaceship sounds and things like that. But this is actually taking the real life, basically motor noise from the rear axle and just making it louder in the cabin. And of course, like any good fake noise system, you can also just turn it off if you don't care for it.
That's what I would do.
I don't know, but also it's a Ferrari. It's not supposed to be silent, is it? And we'll talk about that more.
Yeah.
Let's talk about design now. We're going to start with the interior because I think it's one of the strongest points of a vehicle. So it's very easy. Yeah, you should get those pictures pulled up.
I already got them. They're not. Oh, though it switched screens on me. Okay.
I'll give you a second. You can do it.
I'm telling you, Riverside's acting up tonight. So
I don't think it is.
No, I'm hitting the share tab button. And it's looking at me like I'm an idiot. So
you got it. I believe in you.
There we go. Hey.
All right. So first things first, it's very easy to tell that this interior was designed by the person who formerly headed Apple's design program. Everything is very simple and clean in the car. Every piece is a fine machined piece, and it's very minimalist to look at. There's aluminum everywhere. The screen design is simple, etc., etc. I think the interior of this thing is a pretty knockout feature of it. It's got a bit of that futuristic look that you would expect it to have because EV, whatever, but it also still finds a way to be very simple and I would say almost timeless in a sense, just because you can tell just looking in pictures that it's such a high quality space to be in. And like the physical clock there, that's actually a cutout in the screen itself. That's cool. And you can see it has a crown on the top of it, much like the Apple Watch does, that you can use to switch it between a clock or a chronometer or things like that. They keep the very typical Ferrari controls on the steering wheel, but then the steering wheel has a super clean, minimalist look to it, which is cool. And you've got these hard aluminum switches all over the cabin. It's a very good combination of digital and physical kind of melded together. Okay, all that said, let's talk about the outside of the car now.
All right. Let me switch tabs, but go ahead and start talking.
On the outside is where the controversy starts. So in my opinion, let me just go ahead and get this out at the beginning. To me, this feels very similar to the same discourse that started around the time that the Mustang Mach-E was introduced. Because, oh, it's got 4 doors. It's not a Mustang. Oh, it's an SUV. It's not a Mustang, et cetera, et cetera. This feels very similar to that. But anyway, so Veloce is designed to look like it's kind of from the future, right? And it's designed with several aerodynamic features in mind. At the front, the car features a prominent S-duct, which Ferrari borrowed the idea from their race cars. The S-duct is designed in such a way that it flows uninterrupted from the very front of the car all the way to the back, which gives it that two-tone design you see. So that black space on the front is the start of the duct. You can see it starts actually in the middle of the front bumper. And then that's one continuous smooth line all the way over the windshield, over the roof, and to the back end. The exterior is also 4 doors, which is unique for a Ferrari. The 2 rear doors open backwards because why not? And then around back, the design is pretty simple. You can tell there is some definite inspiration from previous Ferrari models there. It's got the typical circular tail lights and things like that. And there's honestly not much else going on around the rear. There's also little aero scoops all over the place. So you can see there on the sides of the tail lights, 2 vertical aero features there for air to just cut right through the sides of the car. There's aero scoops for the wheels and all sorts of other fun stuff like that.
I like that
Joel,
picture.
Yeah, so Joel, let's talk about it for a second before I keep this on. What do you think about the looks of this car?
So, the inside, I like it. You can tell it's inspired by, Johnny Ive at Apple. But yeah, from Apple. The outside, I think is ugly. Pure ugly. It looks like it kind of looks like I get like Robo-Taxi vibes from it. I don't know why. But and these aero wheels, I mean the turbine style wheels they got here, no. Nope.
Yeah, I don't like the aero wheels either. I think the 5 spokes look good.
I'm not digging how it opens
on it.
in the middle here. I'm not digging that. That's just not for me. But I do not find anything appealing about the outside of the car, which a lot of people didn't. Ferrari stock tanked after they announced this. So
yeah, so I'm the contrarian here. I actually like it.
Oh, you would, wouldn't you?
I actually like it. I know people are mad because it doesn't look like a Ferrari. It's not a Ferrari, whatever. But here's the thing. Ferrari has made a lot of cars over the years that haven't looked like a Ferrari or haven't really identified as a Ferrari, any Ferrari that existed before them. And then they've all ended up being wildly successful or prized or whatever else. It's like their kind of whole brand identity is supposed to be like pushing the envelope, like, redefining things and being a desire piece or whatever else. So obviously this was going to have to be different than what they already had, right?
Sure.
It wasn't good enough for them to just make an electric car. Like they had to do something interesting. It couldn't just be the Ferrari you have in your mind and with an electric motor under it. Like that obviously was never going to cut it for the brand. Now, I do think that in some areas they might have taken it a little bit too far. Like, I have grown to not mind the front end, but the front end is very controversial, and I understand why. The rear end is actually fine, like completely fine in my opinion.
Yeah, the rear end doesn't bother me. It kind of looks like a Dodge kind of ish, but with the circle lights. I just don't know. There's something about it that just doesn't. I don't know. I mean, have you mentioned pricing?
No, we're about to. All of this is all of this to say is neither of our opinions matter on this subject, Joel.
Never gonna have one.
Of this will ever have one of these. The car is expected to start before options at around 550,000 euros, which is about $640,000. Deliveries are expected to start in Europe later this year, with U.S. deliveries starting sometime in 2027, but Ferrari has not announced any official U.S. pricing. And I saw today that Ferrari is claiming that even though stock is tanked or whatever, and there's been some pretty vicious discourse on it, the order books they've been getting orders. I think they're currently booked out until the end of 2027 on orders for the car, which they're not like a high volume.
I was going to say, there's that many people out there with $500,000 on their hands, or is it just some rich Italians?
But for a company like Ferrari, the fact that they're being ordered and they're selling at the pace that they're, is a good thing for them.
Yep.
And ultimately, this is just kind of we're pushing the envelope, right? And who knows what the next electric Ferrari will be, if there is one.
I agree. I mean, we'll never, ever, ever own one.
Never say never. You might
We'll
hit a scratcher
never
one day.
the online lottery. Yeah. I mean, it's a very polarizing thing. I mean, because I like to see, besides me, I like to see where some of the controversy coming from. Is it coming from traditional Ferrari owners who just don't want to see an
Well,
EV?
it's just people
Or
that it's coming from people that are traditional Ferrari people and are very like, into the Ferraris of yore, right? Kind of
yeah.
like what the Ferrari has always been, what it's kind of always stood for, whatever. And in their
Hmm.
opinion, this doesn't work. Like that's why I've said that really to me draws a lot of parallels too with the launch of the Mach E.
Yep.
That people
Because
were
the
like, it's not
Mustang
a
owners were
Mustang,
just,
it's not a
it's not a
Mustang, but
Mustang.
it's like ultimately it kind of is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
fast. It's like it's got all the ingredients. It just happens to also be electric in an SUV. Um,
Yeah. We'll have to agree to disagree. I just don't think it's cool looking, but I love the inside. I like how you can, on the screen on the back tells you how fast you're going. I like that.
yeah,
That's pretty cool. That is cool. It's the
I
little
mean,
things
it's a
like that I
Ferrari with
like.
5 seats. Come on now,
Yeah. Why
it's
not?
a Ferrari for the
Yeah.
family.
It's a family Ferrari. It's a road tripper. It's a road tripping Ferrari.
I mean,
All
kind of.
right.
It's
What's
got
the last one?
350 kilowatt DC fast charging.
Yep. What's our last story of the day? You said you only had
Well,
a few, so.
yeah, Lightship wants to be a part of a job site. Lightship, which is the maker of the super cool AE1 RV trailer, has a new product aimed towards the commercial market. Their new product, called the Power Sled, takes a lot of the high-tech features from their RV and crams it into a flatbed trailer. The Power Sled features the company's Trek Drive system, which has an electric motor in the trailer itself that is 94 horsepower and up to 121 pound-feet of torque.
Hmm.
Lightspeed claims that with this electric motor engaged, you can basically double the efficiency of whatever tow vehicle is using it. So,
Hmm.
say you're towing in a Rivian R1T getting 1.5 miles per kilowatt hour, you might be able to get instead 3 miles per kilowatt hour or something like that. Maybe not that drastic. I'm just throwing up,
Yeah.
ballpark bogus numbers. But I've seen people have hooked these up to gas trucks even and seen, significant increases in MPG as well. Um, which is always cool because I mean, it's really a cool tech. It essentially just measures torque and how much hard you're pulling the trailer and then just revs the motor up on the trailer itself to match the speed of the vehicle. It's really cool. It's essentially making the trailer almost weightless. Anyway, the Power Sled will be available with 3 battery packs: a base 80 kilowatt hour unit, a middle of the road 160 kilowatt hour units, and a monster of a 240 kilowatt hour
Jeez.
unit. These are all LFP cells, which is neat. The trailer features a NACS port and can be DC fast charged and AC charged. The Power Sled will also be able to use its battery as a portable generator with a base output of 80 amps or 19.2 kilowatts. Or you can spec 2 onboard chargers for the thing, which will make it to where it can output 38.4 kilowatts of power. The trailer is 26 feet long, weighs between 3,300 and 5,800 pounds, depending on which battery pack you get. Lightship is also going to be selling these in a chassis config, meaning other companies could buy the chassis and build whatever they want on top of it.
Oh,
Maybe
that's cool.
a different company wants to make an RV and have that as the underpinnings, maybe a more traditional RV and less of the spaceship like the Lightship is. Or maybe someone buys one and makes it into like an enclosed car hauler situation or, things like that. Of course, no pricing. Why would we need pricing? Come on now.
Yep.
Um, but I did think it was cool. I mean, the AE1, there's been some initial media coverage, and it seems like it still has some bugs and some quirks to work out. I mean, it's a very new system, but like on paper, it's pretty sweet, and the concept is pretty sweet.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, this is a use case we will never use, but I'm thinking of people who are who want an electric truck but don't want to tow to lose the range. This could be a trade off. I'm very impressed with the 40 minutes to 100, the DC fast charge 80%. 40 minutes to 120 minutes. That's a big range. I know it depends on this battery size and everything like
Mm-hmm.
that. So, but yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, I'm glad you brought this topic up because it's not something we usually talk about on here. But yeah, 2 times fuel efficiency plus EV range. I mean, I got to see it in real life though. So, I mean, yeah, pretty cool.
All right, Joel, what did we do this week? Tell me about it.
So we had 2 videos this week, like always. In case you don't know, we release videos on Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. So Monday's video was all about me, and Wednesday's video was all about you. So Monday's video was we have an annual event here in Arkansas called Teslas and Tacos. It's hosted by Evolve. It's a really cool event. It's just a gathering of EV owners and talking
not
EV
just
tacos
Teslas.
and not just Teslas, EV owners. It's called Teslas and Tacos, but it's an all EV event, and we make sure we say that. And there were other EVs there besides Teslas, but I thought it'd be a great time since we know a lot of people at these events just to talk with them and chat with them about buying an EV and the EV ownership experience. So these are actually real owners, not just fanboys who want to buy an EV, but these are people who have owned EVs, people who have owned multiple EVs, and they just chatted about their EV experience. So it was really just a very casual conversation with 3 or 4 owners. We talked about a Prologue, a Porsche, Tesla, Cybertruck, Honda. These were all really, interesting videos, and everyone had a different use case. I mean, one person who drives a Honda can't charge at home. So he has identified all the free charging available, level 2 charging available around the city, and that's where he charges. So it's very interesting. So yeah, that was cool. And then Wednesday, you want to talk about your video, what you did on Wednesday?
Yeah, Wednesday was a little recap. This weekend for Memorial Day, we went and visited some family up in Northwest Arkansas, and I took that as my chance to slip away for a little bit and head up to Bentonville and check out some Walmart EV charging stuff. So about what was it in November? So about 6 months ago, we checked out a Walmart EV charging site in the DFW area, and there was some stuff. It was ultimately a good session, but there's some stuff we wanted to see improved and things like that. And so I just kind of wanted to take this opportunity, 6 months later, to see what's changed, right? This was also my chance to, for the first time ever, see the ABB A400 unit. Because there's a new site up in Bentonville that has one, or is a ABB site instead of the Alpatronic HYC site. The rest of them are their HYC sites. This one seemed like it was switched to ABB last minute. Thought it was very interesting. And I have some theories on that in the video. I talk about a little bit. But I ultimately just kind of wanted to go check out new hardware. It's pretty cool. It's got a 32-inch screen on the front of it, Joel.
Yeah, I saw that's huge. The size of the TV in my spare room. Yeah.
Which is amazing. On a charger, it looks huge, and on a wall or something in your bedroom, 32 inches is not very big.
You got to squint.
Anyway.
So question for you.
About that.
Experience, and you may get ready to answer this. You've experienced both units, the Alpatronic and the ABB. Pros and cons of each. If you had to roll the dice and pick one, what would it be?
Yeah, so I was kind of going to get in that a little bit. So the ABB unit is very neat. It has a lot of cool tech in it and things like that. So the CCS cable is vapor cooled. So it's not liquid cooled. There are no liquid pumps in the charger or anything like that. Basically, it is a sealed cable that has liquid put in it in the factory, and the liquid heats up around the pins, evaporates, the vapor travels up the cable until it turns back into a liquid, runs back down the cable, evaporates, just, in a cycle over and over again. Which is cool, because it means while you're charging, it's dead silent. I kid you not. I heard the contactors clicking at the beginning, and then it made no noise. It was kind of cool. But on the other hand, the cable was gigantic.
I remember you showed me a picture compared to your hand.
It was huge. Let me just pull that up for the audience, because it's where's my account? There it is. How do you pull your own profile? There we go. Profile.
I was trying to go to the ABB website, but their website is not user friendly.
Screen. So here's a picture of it in my car. So, you could tell just off that picture that it's a pretty chunky cable. Mm-hmm. And in case you need more scale. Oh, I'm clicking on the wrong screen.
You actually had trouble putting it in the car with one hand.
Yeah, I had a lot of trouble with that. We'll talk about that in a sec. Yeah. So there's the size of the cable with my hand under it, fairly normal size. I feel like here's next to my face. Okay.
So about the width of your glasses, probably.
And then there's the handle. A real monster of a cable. And
Goodness.
The first time sorry, I'm having having a bit of a moment there. There we go. The first time I went there, I just pulled in straight forward because usually on the Alpitronic sites, the cables are long enough that you can just pull straight in. Like, it's not a big deal. You don't have to back in. The cable management's forgiving. You pull it out, plug it. So that worked on the ABB unit, but I was apparently, because there were bollards at the front of the spot and everything, I was pulled in as far as I could. And I probably should not have plugged my car in. It was fine, but it was scary. There was a lot of bending and everything, and when I unplugged it, the charger would not come out straight, which made me nervous. And yeah, it was a bit of a beast. The cable management, while really clean in design, I don't know if it just was like maybe the unit I was on was maybe assembled incorrectly or what, but it felt like, and if you go watch the video, you can try to look at it when you see it, it felt like it was making the cable go the wrong direction on the arm. And there wasn't any movement to it. So the cable went in this little hump and was like solid in the hump. It was weird.
Yep, I kind of noticed that. Yeah, almost like the pole bracket, they just needed to be turned 180 degrees almost at the top.
Yeah, I don't know. Anyway,
so
it was
here's
weird.
another thing I noticed. As someone who charged at Teslas and backed into Tesla charging spots, shouldn't the NACS adapter be on the other side of the unit? If I were to back in?
That is a comment, and allegedly, so funny story. So I recorded this on Sunday. Came out Wednesday. Monday, State of Charge and the Arkansas E-Traveler. Hi, Landon. Love you.
Shout out to Landon.
Shout out to Landon. Released a video with Walmart EV charging and talking to their head of EV charging and everything, and asking questions. And one of the things they mentioned was that they would be switching around the NACS and CCS cables.
I mean, that's what I was looking at. I was like, it would make sense if they were the other side, because then Sebastian could back in for that other side, and then he wouldn't have to figure cables on, because on the EGMP cars, the older ones, the charge port's on the right rear. Yeah, that's what I was looking at the whole time. I was like, something's off in this video. Then I realized, like, that NACS should not be over there. It should be on the other side. And you said there was 3 units there?
4.
I wonder if it would have made sense to make just 2 all CCS and 2 NACS.
So they've seemed to be playing around still with some of their cable design. They still have some sites, it seems like, that are doing that, and other sites that are moving to this. I think their plan for the future is to do split between dispensers,
kind of like
which I actually support. It's Anyway, my second kind of thing I talk about in the video is I also had gone by the Springdale location, which for those who have kind of followed along with Walmart EV charging or whatever, they might know the Springdale location is the original beta site for
it's the
Walmart
OG
EV
baby.
Charging. It has had multiple different units installed over the years. They've been in different places. They've really put it through. I think it originally just had CPE250s, and then they upgraded to ChargePoint Express Plus units, and then they tore the ChargePoint Express Plus units out, moved them in the parking lot, put them back in, moved the switchgear pad, pulled those out, and now they've put the Alpitronic HYC400s in and have moved them in the parking lot again. But
same area though. From what I'm looking at, it's the same area, correct?
So it's further back in the lot now.
So it's not right there by the food pickup.
Yeah, it's a little further back now.
Good, because all the food pickup people would sit there and wait at those spots while people would park in those spots when they drop someone off to go inside and get something, and then that's happened on multiple occasions. People were just parked or chilling, waiting for their significant other to come out of the Walmart. So I'm glad they moved it back some. But
this is where I saw and ended up confirming after watching Landon and State of Charge, Tom Malogny's video about this. The Springdale site I noticed had, and it's pretty hard to see because the screen is small, whatever. But there were, and I was like, I think I had a picture of it, but whatever. There's a payment terminal.
You sent one to me, card reader. Yep.
There's a card reader. So that was one of the things we were really hard on for Walmart, was that they did not use credit card readers. You had to use the app. And the ABB site that I'd gone to, which had opened quite literally like a week or 2 ago, did not have a card reader on it. And so when I got to this one for something else, because I would need to go to Walmart, I don't remember exactly what was going on. And I saw the card reader. It was like, oh, interesting. Walmart's listening, maybe. Of course, now the card reader was not active. It just had on the screen testing in progress, use the Walmart app. But the charger looked like it was configured for card reader, because on the screen it popped up to use the Walmart app or a pay by card and things like that.
Cool.
But anyway, that was exciting to me. I really like the design of the Springdale site because it's pull through.
Yeah.
So you can not pull through in the sense like for a trailer, but pull through in the sense that you can come at the charger from both sides.
Yep.
And so you can see
Kinda
here,
like
since I was able to
kind of like a
park
traditional
beside the
gas
charger.
pump, like a gas
Right.
pump station or something like that. Yep.
And since I was able to park beside the charger, I didn't have to stretch the cable out or anything like that. It was really nice.
Yep.
Let me stop sharing my screen. Here's my
One of these
mouse.
days on one of these trips up there, we'll get up. We'll meet up with Landon and do some fun
I
stuff.
know he reached out to me, and I just the timing didn't work out, and whatever. Landon,
we're
going to
be up there next week. We're going to be up there in 2 weeks, so I don't know if we'll have time or not to hook up. But Landon, I'll reach out to you, and maybe you can take me out for a drink.
Anyway, but yeah, so that whole video was just kind of talking about my experience there and kind of how that worked and kind of what I gathered from there. I even filmed the intro in front of the Walmart, on the Walmart headquarters, which I was
cool.
afraid I was going to get kicked out the whole time. That someone was going to show up and like arrest me, but it was okay.
Just tell them you're the EV geek, and they'll be like, "Oh, you're the EV geek. Take as much time as you want."
Joel, I don't think that works that way.
They'll say you're not Landon, but take as much time as you want. So.
Anyway, but yeah, that's all we had.
It's been a slow news week, y'all. But yeah, so what do we got coming up next week, Sebastian? We actually got some car reviews coming up next week, weather permitting. But I think the weather's going to be clear. So yeah, I think we're going to get out and do some cars we haven't done for a while. Maybe some premium. I talked to our buddy over at Cadillac. I think we're going to get some premium versions of previous cars we reviewed, especially the Beast. We're getting the Beast, the IQL. So that's going to be nice. So yep. So we got some more reviews coming out
Monday. We'll see, but
we'll see what comes out Monday. Maybe just me rambling about something.
Yeah. So we'll see.
Who knows? We'll see. As you can see, we don't plan very far ahead. We don't plan far ahead. We just wing it. Yeah, we used to, but now
it's vibes.
It's vibes. Yep.
All right, everyone. Well, that is a wrap for today's episode. Thank you all for plugging into the Friday Charge. If you enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like and subscribe on YouTube. And if you're listening on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, tap that follow button, leave us a quick rating, comment, whatever the platform does. They're all a little different, and I can't ever keep them straight. But whatever you do, it does help us grow. So long, everyone, and we will see you on the next episode of The Friday Charge.